The second word is jadear or jadeando, which they use a lot in the Harry Potter. They all must be panting. That's what it means to be panting, because they're always like running into the room. Harry, necesito tu ayuda. So here's a sample sentence. Ginny estaba jadeando. Ginny was panting. The next word is a really funny word, an interesting word that I understood it the first time I heard it, even though I had never seen it or looked it up before. It's boquiabierto. Boquiabierto. So the first time I heard it, I thought, well, boca is mouth, abierto is open, open-mouthed. But when you hear it, and as a translator too, I was thinking, how? We don't say, he was open-mouthed. He was open-mouthed. Thinking, what in the world are they trying to say? Oh, with an open mouth, or his jaw dropped. Sometimes we say that. And then I realized that you could say it that way too in some stories or some translations, but it can also be translated as speechless. So think about that. Yeah, when someone's speechless, their jaw drops, their mouth opens. So here's a sample sentence. Harry se quedó boquiabierto. Harry was speechless. The next word is escabullirse, which everyone seems to be doing around the Hogwarts and in the whole Harry Potter universe. It means to sneak around. They actually express sneaking around in a lot of ways, but this is one of the main ones that they use. Ron se escabulló. Ron snuck away. Now, this next one surprised me because I had to look it up, because I thought I knew the word for dungeon, and I do. It's calabozo. But they don't say that in Harry Potter. They don't use calabozo. Maybe that's a Latin American way of saying it. Now, the version of Harry Potter that I was listening to was with the Latin American voice, the voice actor, which he's fantastic. He does all the voices, but you can easily separate them. It's amazing how he can do all the different voices. It's really entertaining. It's actually really fun. I just can't recommend it enough. Hopefully you'll find something that you really enjoy like that too. Anyway, the word was las mazmorras. Mazmorras is the word they use for dungeon. And it's like the dungeon, each of the dungeons or the areas where they have their chemistry class or their potions class, the different areas of the Hogwarts. These are just individual words. I'm not going to put them in sentences. The next word, I've heard this word a lot through my whole life knowing Spanish, and that's chiflado. Chiflado, which means wacky or crackpot. It's a really good word. Another one is pergamino, which they use a lot in Harry Potter, and that's the parchment. They're always saying, get a parchment instead of go to your notebook. So it's pergamino. The next word is receloso, which also surprised me. And one of the reasons I really appreciate doing this activity, see, this means suspicious. Now, for all these years to say suspicious, I've been saying sospechoso, which is a good way to say suspicious in Spanish. People use that, sospechoso. I don't know, I guess I've heard receloso, but I didn't tend to use it. But now I'm going to try to use it a lot more because I heard it all throughout this novel, receloso, to be suspicious. So it's expanding your vocabulary. Okay, the next vocabulary word is apartarse. Apartarse means to step aside or move away. So an example sentence would be, ella se apartó. She stepped away or she moved aside. The next one is desplomarse. Now you can see a lot of these are reflexive verbs too. And desplomarse means to collapse. But the way they use it a lot of times is like she collapsed on her bed or she fell on her bed. Se desplomó en su cama. All right, we're coming down to that last one that I told you about that's really common. But before that, here's another good one. Estropearse, which means to mess up or to damage, to ruin, to spoil. Now, all these years speaking Spanish, for damage, I always say dañar. Está dañado, se dañó, it got damaged, which is perfectly fine. It's a good vocabulary word. But here's another one, and that's estropearse. Estropearse. Se estropeó, it got damaged. A good example could be el coche se estropea. The car breaks down. Okay, finally, here's the last one. Here's the one I was telling you about that's so common in the Harry Potter novel. It's fruncir el entrecejo. So the first time I heard that, I thought, cejo, well, las cejas are your eyebrows. El entrecejo would be the area between your eyebrows. And fruncir, I didn't really know the verb, but it sounded kind of like, doing something with your face like that. And I thought, and then when I looked it up, it's like fruncir is to pucker. So to pucker your in between of your eyebrow, what in the world does this mean? And so it can be translated in different ways, but the common way to translate it is to frown. And I know I've asked a lot of my friends, how do you say frown? Because, we have like weird expressions in English, like turn your frown upside down, because, frown is like that and a smile would be the opposite of that. But they really can't say that easily. But the whole expression on your face when you frown, you look like that with your mouth, but it also is your whole face. And so in Spanish, they focus more on your eyebrows. So they say fruncir el entrecejo, frunciendo el entrecejo. They use it all the time in this novel. So again, you might say, well, when am I ever going to say that? Or I'm not going to say that, but you understand it. It's expanding your vocabulary. That's what it's all about. It's expanding your vocabulary. Here's an example sentence. Harry frunció el entrecejo. Yeah, so they pronounce his name, Harry. But what's good about in this novel is they tend to try to pronounce some of the key names in a recognizable way. So they don't change it to some Spanish name, which I agree with, like changing it to Jorge or Juan or Maria. And you might disagree with that, but I feel like as a translator, you have to make certain decisions, artistic decisions too. And so they're trying to keep it so that people who are familiar with the movie or with the novel can follow, and there's a continuity. And so they want you to be able to follow the names too. So that's why they won't pronounce Hermione. They won't say Hermione. They won't try to pronounce it like with Spanish phonetics. They say Hermione. So it's like a hybrid of English and Spanish. That's why Harry will become Harry, because most Spanish speakers, even though they recognize it as an English name, they would still roll the R's because there's two R's in the name. So they may say Harry or Harry. You're really going to enjoy this. It's such a beneficial activity. It just gives a charge to your Spanish. It makes it really fun, or whatever language you're studying. And I also know from friends and family that they told me you can also go to Libby.com. And Libby is this online library connection. Look that up, Libby.com, and you can get access to audiobooks from this like virtual library. You can borrow them that way, and also your local library. Thank you for watching my videos. Please make sure to like the video, and if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. Check out my other videos. There's so many others that can help you with your pronunciation, to psych you up, to get you really charged up about your vocabulary and learning Spanish and your grammar. And let me know what vocabulary words you're interested in learning from the Harry Potter series. Depending on the interest that I see, I might make more videos specifically about more of the vocabulary that I find in these novels, because every time I'm listening to it, I keep writing down more words, learning more vocabulary, even after all these years, and it just makes it that much more fun. It's like, wow, look at this word, check out this way to say this thing, and it really makes it enjoyable to continue to increase your understanding of the language.